Morning, guys. We are going to start Act 5 today. So we're going to split, just like we did in Act 4, Act 5, Scene 1 is kind of long. So I'm going to split it into 3 different parts. So we're going to read the first part today. We're going to start with a conversation between Leonardo and his brother Antonio. And Leonardo is upset. He is he can't decide if he believes Hero or not. But, well, you'll see what he says. Okay, so let's read the text, and then there will be a discussion question for you to answer. And next week we will finish Act 5.
Scene 1. Before Leonato's house. Enter Leonato and Antonio.
If you go on thus, you will kill yourself, and 'tis not wisdom thus to second grief against yourself.
I pray thee, cease thy counsel, which falls into mine ears as profitless as water in a sieve. Give not me counsel, nor let no comforter delight mine ear, but such a one whose wrongs do suit with mine. Bring me a father that so loved his child, whose joy of her is overwhelmed like mine, and bid him speak of patience.
So basically, Leonardo is saying, don't give me advice. You don't know what I'm going through. Bring me somebody who's gone through what I've gone through, and then I'll listen to their advice. Until then, shut your mouth.
Measure his woe the length and breadth of mine, and let it answer every strain for strain. And thus for thus, and such a grief for such, in every lineament, branch, shape, and form. If such a one will smile and stroke his beard, bid sorrow wag a cry when he should groan, patch grief with proverbs, make misfortune drunk with candle wasters, bring him yet to me, and I of him will gather patience.
Bring me a dude who can do all of those things that would show patience, right? That would show everything is okay. And from him, I will learn patience. From you, no.
But there is no such man. For, brother, men can counsel and speak comfort to thy grief, which they themselves not feel. But tasting it, their counsel turns to passion, which before would give preceptual medicine to rage. Fetter strong madness in a silken thread, charm ache with air, and agony with words. No, 'tis all men's office to speak patience to those that wring under the load of sorrow. But no man's virtue nor sufficiency to be so moral when he shall endure the like himself. Therefore give me no counsel. My griefs cry louder than advertisement.
Leonardo, there's a modern phrase that we have for this, right? He is basically saying, you can't understand what I'm going through. So most men can tell other people to put up with sorrow, but when they're going through it themselves, they experience the same thing that I'm experiencing, right? Easier said than done, basically.
Therein do men from children nothing differ.
I pray thee, peace. I will be flesh and blood. For there was never yet philosopher that could endure the toothache patiently, however they have writ the style of gods and made a push at chance and sufferance.
Yet bend not all the harm upon yourself. Make those that do offend you suffer too.
Antonio's like, yeah, but don't make yourself be the only one who feels bad. Make those who make you suffer feel bad.
There thou speakest reason.
And I was
Nay,
like,
I
yep.
will do so. My soul doth tell me Hero is belied.
He's starting to believe Hero.
That shall Claudio know. So shall the prince, and all of them that thus dishonor her.
Here comes the prince, and Claudio hastily.
As we've known already from the other plays, this is one of Shakespeare's favorite things to do. I really need to talk to Claudio. Enter Claudio, right? It's always a great coincidence. But basically, Leonardo's like, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind because I don't think Hero is guilty.
Enter Don Pedro and Claudio.
Good den, good den.
Good day to both of you.
Hear you, my lords.
We have some haste, Leonato.
Some haste, my lord. Well, fare you well, my lord. Are you so hasty now? Well, all is one.
Nay, do not quarrel with us, good old man.
If he could right himself with quarreling, some of us would lie low.
Antonio, speaking tough, he's like, if my brother could make things right by quarreling, some of y'all would be laid low. Claudio's like, what? What happened?
Who wrongs him?
Mary, thou dost wrong me, thou dissembler.
A dissembler is a liar or faker.
Nay, never lay thy hand upon thy sword. I fear thee not.
So there's a stage direction that's missing here, but you can figure out what action just happened by what Leonato said. He said, never lay thy hand upon thy sword. So Antonio and Leonato like get in front of Claudio and Pedro in the street, and Claudio makes a move, and Leonato's like, hey, don't put your hand on your sword. I'm not afraid of you.
Mary, beshrew my hand, if you should give your age such cause of fear. In faith, my hand meant nothing to my sword.
Tush, tush, man. Never fleer and jest at me. I speak not like a dotard nor a fool, as under privilege of age to brag what I have done being young, or what would do were I not old. No, Claudio, to thy head. Thou hast so wronged mine innocent child and me, that I am forced to lay my reverence by, and with grey hairs and bruise of many days, do challenge thee to trial of a man.
He just challenged him to a duel. He's like, I don't care how old I am or how young you are. I challenge you to a duel.
I say thou hast belied mine innocent child. Thy slander hath gone through and through her heart, and she lies buried with her ancestors.
Remember the plan to fake her death.
Oh, in a tomb where never scandal slept, save this of hers, framed by thy villainy.
My villainy?
Thine, Claudio, thine, I say.
You say not right, old man.
My lord, I'll prove it on his body, if he dare, despite his nice fence and his active practice, his May of youth and bloom of lustihood.
So Leonato says, I challenge you to a duel, and Pedro says, no, you're wrong. Leonato says, I'm going to prove that I'm right through this duel. Now, I'm on Leonato's side here. Claudio's a jerk, although, maybe not dueling to the death, the best way to solve a problem. But I disagree with Leonato's logic that if I kill Claudio in a duel, that means that I am right. But he does say, I don't care how young he is. I don't care how, like he says, his nice fence, meaning his good sword skills or his active practice. He's recently been in battle. His May of youth, right? So like the spring of his youth, the bloom of lustihood. Like he's young and vital, and I'm old. I don't care. I'm going to challenge him anyways.
Away, I will not have to do with you.
And Claudio's
Hast
like,
thou
nah.
so daff me? Thou hast killed my child. If thou killst me, boy, thou shalt kill a man.
Content yourself. God knows I loved my niece, and she is dead, slandered to death by villains that dare as well answer a man indeed, as I dare take a serpent by the tongue. Boys, apes, braggarts, jacks, milksops.
So the recording skipped a little bit, but right here, Antonio jumps in, and he's basically defending Leonato, and he's like, you have to kill me too. And Leonato's going to try to hold him back.
Brother,
Hold you content. What man? I know them, yea, and what they weigh even to the utmost scruple. Scrambling, outfacing, fashion-monging boys.
Calls them boys.
That lie and cog and flout, deprave and slander, go antically, show outward hideousness, and speak off half a dozen dangerous words that they might hurt their enemies, if they durst. And that is all.
brother,
This is interesting because that's basically exactly what Beatrice said about men, right? Like, ooh, you just want to walk around and wear nice clothes and talk a bunch of junk, but you're not actually going to do anything about it. So Antonio is kind of echoing what Beatrice said about this type of man being like this well-born rich guy like Pedro and Claudio and even Benedict.
Sir Antony.
Come, 'tis no matter. Do not you meddle. Let me deal in this.
Gentlemen both, we will not wake your patience. My heart is sorry for your daughter's death, but on my honor, she was charged with nothing but what was true and very full of proof.
My lord.
I will not hear you.
No? Come, brother, away. I will be heard.
And shall, or some of us will smart for it.
I'm not sure that reading was quite dramatic enough. I hear Antonio like yelling, although I think he's like an old man too, like "Red shell or some of us will smart for it," something like that. Anyways, that is the end of the part that we're gonna read today. A little more philosophical of a question today than play-based. So think about what Leonardo was talking about at the beginning of the scene. I'm not going to recap it for you, so you might want to have to go back and reread it or re-listen to our discussion of it. But think about what Leonardo was talking about how you can't know my pain unless you've gone through it. And that's what your discussion post is going to be based on. All right. Have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.